I was wrong a lot. Like, let's see. I'm going to rephrase that. I was ignorant a lot. And based on how I grew up, I was taught things that looking back now, I'm like, wow, I was wrong. And I didn't know that, which is why I changed it to ignorant. Like, it was wrong, but it was also ignorant, which maybe that's the same thing sometimes when we change our mind, we change our behavior. But I've just been thinking about like how much looking back, having changed my feelings and my behavior now, I look back at my behavior and thoughts and feelings back then and I'm like, wow, I was definitely wrong. But I did not know that back then, and back then I didn't know I was wrong. And so I extrapolate that information and look at it now and I'm like, well, I'm probably doing the same thing. There are probably things that I'm doing, thinking, and feeling right now, which in my future I will be like, wow, I was so ignorant and or so wrong. Which is interesting because back then I would have never thought I was wrong. And now I'm like, what could I be doing right now that would be wrong? But I was clueless back then. So it's as likely to happen that I'm wrong again and I just have no idea. And I'm definitely ignorant in politics. So if there's anywhere I'm wrong, it's probably there. I have no idea. And maybe I'll look back in the future and be like, how was I oblivious to politics? How was I not involved? And I'd be like, well, it's because I don't have time, first of all, to make that the center of my world. I don't have time for that. You know? I don't have time. But my point is, I'm sure there's things I'm going to look back on and be like, wow. Just like when, back then, I was trying to do the right thing. I just was a little clueless. Anyway, there's some things that I've grown in, which is great because you grow with time. Like, it's not like you're purposely ignorant or purposely wrong. Nobody wants to be wrong. Nobody wants to be ignorant. But we only have so many hours in a day to devote to things, like you cannot be an expert in everything. When I was an expert in my religion, that was my priority. And for example, I did not choose to become an expert in politics. But maybe if I wasn't raised religious, maybe I would have grown up in a household where I would have been taught politics, but I would not be an expert in religion. People value different things. Some people value religion, some people value politics. Those are just two words. I'm sure there's like infinity topics that you could be an expert on, and not even expert. It's really just like where you're taught to put your time. Those were areas I was taught to put my time. Well, religion was where I was taught to put my time, and I did. Now I don't, and I have moved on to other things. When I let go of religion, I put my time into, first of all, psychology, because I was like, what is wrong with my brain? And then part of it was like, I was like, I think religion did this to my brain. And there was a time when I was so angry at religion, at the religion I was in, and all religions. Now I'm not angry at all, and I'm just like, it's just how I was raised, and it's fine. Like, there are problems with every religion. There are problems with politics. I don't know why I keep saying politics. I don't know a thing about politics, but I don't know. I just kind of think like, well, maybe it's not like I'm raising my kids in politics. They're not raised in religion. They're not raised in politics. I'm not teaching them to be political. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm talking about something I have no clue about, which is always a problem. Just kidding. Nothing's a problem, ever. Everything's fine. Whatever you do is fine. The person I'm talking to is younger me because I have tried to become the person I needed when I was younger. That's always been my go-to. Become the person that you wish you had growing up. I've always tried to do that since I was a teenager. I was like, well, that person may not exist. I'm going to become that person that I wish existed. And I have done that. There's a lot about myself that I don't like. And I always think I would never date a boy version of me. Or if I was a man, I would never date this woman. But that's not what I'm attracted to. That's what I am. I am this person. And I'm like, well, this is who I am. I drive myself crazy a lot of time. But also I try to be the best version of myself. I don't know. It's hard to explain. Like, I've tried to become the best version of myself. It has nothing to do with dating yourself. I'm thinking about that. I'm like, should you become the person you'd want to date? But I'm like, well, you don't want to date a mirror of yourself. Like, why would you need to date yourself? Like, you'd probably want to date someone who compliments you, not someone who is you. Anyway, sorry to the people who I am a lot for, which is probably only whoever I date and my kids. Anyway, I need to get off this topic. My brain is stuck on it. It's obsessing about that question or that predicament. Anyway, going back to this is when I was in college, I did not have a lot of opinions. And the opinions that I did have were opinions that I had gleaned from other people. I'm looking at a cute baby in a stroller. Okay, anyway, they were opinions that I had gleaned from other people, and which is, I guess, how you get all opinions, or you hear it somewhere, unless you think of it yourself, which is why I like psychology, because I like diving into my brain and coming up with new things and things that I think no one has thought of before. That's why I like Carl Jung. He went places that other people don't go. I'm like, I like that. I like thinking of new things. Anyway, I'm rambling, which is fine. Rambling is okay. Telling my past self that. But really, it's like, when I was young, I wanted people to tell me things. I wanted them to tell me what to think and why, like, be convincing, like, explain it to me. I wanted to know. Whereas now I like to figure it out myself, from diving into my psychology, diving into my psyche, my brain, my past, trauma, all that. And this video is an example of me telling younger me what and why things, as opposed to so there was a YouTube channel that I